We live in this incredible world where we can watch, play, and read stuff from all over the planet, instantly in our own language. We just kind of take it for granted. But it doesn't just happen. It's not magic. There is an unseen architect, a conductor behind the scenes, making it all possible. And today, we're going to pull back that curtain. I mean, seriously, just think about that for a second. How on earth does a massive video game with thousands of lines of dialogue and super deep lore launch at the exact same time all around the world? Or, how does your favorite show on Netflix drop with perfect subtitles in like 30 languages? This is way more than just translation. It's a huge, huge feat of coordination. Well, the secret is a person. The key figure in this whole global orchestra is the translation project manager. Researcher Monica Rodriguez Castro has this perfect description for them. They are the glue that holds everything together. The client, the linguists, the tech experts, all scattered across different countries and time zones. Okay, so let's get into what that actually means. A translation project manager, or PM for short, is basically the master planner, the communicator, the central hub for everything. They're the one person who takes a project from just an idea all the way to a finished product, making sure that all the moving parts, what the client wants, what the translators are doing, and all the complicated software just work together perfectly. So how does a journey like this even begin? Well, it all starts with these really critical first steps, way before a single word even gets translated. It all kicks off with a client request. From there, the PM has to dive right into what's called a feasibility analysis. Like, is this timeline even possible? Are the files they gave us usable? Then they put together a detailed quote. And this isn't just counting words, it's a full-on strategic plan. Once everybody's on board, boom, the project kicks off. But right from this very first moment, the PM is already doing a very tricky balancing act. And this right here is the heart of that challenge, the classic iron triangle of project management. You've got time, cost, and quality. And here's the deal. You can pick two. You want it fast and cheap? Okay, but the quality might take a hit. You want it high quality and fast? It's going to cost you. The PM's real job is to negotiate these three things to find that sweet spot for every single project. And speaking of balancing things, this number might surprise you. You'd think the PM's job is, 100% managing projects. But one study found that for a lot of PMs, their time is actually split 50-50 between project management and sales. Yeah, that means they're constantly negotiating with clients and managing their expectations, which adds this whole other layer of complexity to the job. All right, so once the project is actually up and running, the PM gets into the mid-game. And this is where they have to start wrangling both some pretty advanced technology and all kinds of unpredictable risks. Now, to manage all this, a PM has a really sophisticated tech toolkit. Things like translation memory software are total game changers. They basically store sentences that have already been translated, which saves a ton of time and money and keeps everything consistent. They also use things like terminology databases, so a key brand name is always translated the exact same way every time. It's this whole suite of tools that lets them handle these massive projects without losing their minds. Of course, even with the best tech in the world, things are unpredictable. Software can glitch, people make mistakes, the client might suddenly change everything halfway through. So, what happens when stuff inevitably goes wrong? This is where a good PM basically becomes a fortune teller. They create something called a risk register, kind of like this simplified one here. They think about what could go wrong. So maybe a new translator delivers late, that's an external risk. Or you've got a huge team, so you might get inconsistencies, that's a task risk. Maybe some special characters just don't show up right in the software, a technology risk. A great PM doesn't just put out fires, they try to figure out where they're going to start in the first place. And being proactive like that makes a huge difference. How much? Well, one study found that with the right training, PMs could actually predict and handle 58% of potential problems before they even happened. That's more than half of all the headaches, just gone. Good management really does have a massive, measurable impact.
But here's the thing, managing tech and processes, that's only half the battle. At its heart, translation is a deeply human thing, and that means a PM's biggest challenge is often just solving the people puzzle.
So right alongside that tech toolkit, every PM needs a people toolkit. And honestly, this can be the hardest. How do you show you appreciate someone? How do you give clear feedback? How do you build a team when everyone's a freelancer in 10 different time zones and they've never even met? That's the real art of the job. And just how important is this human side? Well, the research is pretty clear. The number one thing that determines a translator's job satisfaction is having a good relationship with their project manager. I mean, look at that chart. That top bar blows everything else out of the water. It's way more important than a flexible schedule or even getting along with teammates. A good PM just makes everything better. It really all comes down to motivation. As this quote puts it, the PM's effectiveness in their role is what really influences the intrinsic motivation of the team. And that motivation, that's the secret sauce that turns a good translation into a great one. It's about making people want to do their best work.
So, after all the planning, the risk management, the tech wrangling, and solving all those people puzzles, where does all this work lead? Well, it leads to the grand finale, that polished, final product that you and I get to experience every day. The result of all this invisible work is a perfectly localized app, a movie with flawless subtitles, an instruction manual that actually makes sense in your language. You know, the ultimate sign of a brilliant translation project manager is that you never, ever have to think about them. Their success is their invisibility. So the next time you fire up a new video game, or switch on the subtitles for a foreign film, or use a piece of software that speaks your language perfectly, just take a second. Will you think about that unseen architect, that invisible conductor behind the curtain who masterfully wove it all together just so you could have that seamless experience?